Hello, my name's Brian Matthews. This is my poetry recitation project. I've chosen the poem History Lesson by author Natasha Trethewey. I am four in this photograph, standing on a wide strip of Mississippi beach, my hands on the flowered hips of a bright bikini. My toes dig in, curl around wet sand. The sun cuts the rippling gulf in flashes with each tidal rush. Minnows dart at my feet, glinting like switchblades. I am alone, except for my grandmother, other side of the camera, telling me how to pose. It is 1970, 2 years after they opened the rest of the beach to us. 40 years since the photograph where she stood on a narrow plot of sand marked colored, smiling, her hands on the flowered hips of a cotton meal sack dress. Thank you. Again, this poem was History Lesson by Natasha Trethewey. The poem was published in the year 2000. Natasha Trethewey was an author, born in Mississippi in 1966, in the racially segregated South of the 1960s, born to a black mother with a white father. The marriage of her parents was actually illegal at the time which it took place. Natasha is a very accomplished author. In 2012, she was named the Poet Laureate of the United States. This distinguishes the nation's most outstanding poet, and she was chosen in 2012. This poem has, after doing some research, some very specific message. It's a message based around the idea of progress and seeing the steps that were taken between, the early 1960s when the grandmother took her picture, and as she recalls this, compared to the scene that is actually painted by the narrator in the poem of the wide beach, being in a bikini, things like that, all signs and symbols of freedom for most people, of relaxation, of a time when you don't have to worry about much, and that's what people tend to associate with the beach and relaxing and things like that. So, as I did this research, the meaning of the author's poem is to paint you two different pictures. You first get to see the side of the granddaughter, the progress, the voila, this is what the work that the civil rights movement, other movements that the grandmother could have been a part of or that she lived through, this is the progress, this is what they have to turn over to the next generation of people. And for them, that's being able to wear a bikini instead of a cotton meal sack dress, and having this wide strip of land, not worrying about if there's blacks and whites integrating together, but having them all be together on this beach. So that's your major development that you have, the major meaning that the author is looking for you to take from the poem, is that work has been done. We're moving in the right direction. We might not be there yet, because you still have people who have these images and remembrances of places like the beach that's supposed to be such a happy time, a family time. I remember having so many positive memories of being on the beach, and then you think that people could have this imagery for them where they have to be in a certain part and they can't wear what they choose to wear. That's not relaxation. That's not the freedom that this granddaughter is experiencing. So the real amazing thing that the author is able to do is shift you between the eyes of the granddaughter and the grandmother's viewpoints seamlessly. They're able to do this in the transition of telling you that you think the granddaughter is alone, but really you're transitioning to having the grandmother next to her, telling her how to pose, and you get this mental image that she has of the beach, and it just doesn't seem fair. So, how did the author do this? How did they achieve what they were looking to do? The author was able to make their point and show this meaning of progress through similarities. You have the first tone and first block is one thing, and then the second block is a whole nother thing, but they're similar. So how do we cast these similar experiences with very different circumstances surrounding them? That is the challenge for the author in this case. So what exactly do they do? How do they go about this through their writing, through their literary devices? Let's start with imagery. As brought up earlier, the imagery that we have from the daughter of the beach, in her mind, she sees a wide strip of land. This is in stark contrast to the narrow plot from which the grandmother remembers her picture being taken. This is a crucial imagery scene, as possibilities can be endless, right? When you have this wide strip of land, there's anything that could be happening. You could be playing volleyball on the beach, you could be making sandcastles, you could be burying people in the sand, running out to the beach, anything. The idea is that the possibilities are endless for this girl, where the narrow plot from which the grandmother was able to experience the beach is much different. When you're on a narrow plot, you don't get this imagery of anything being possible, or imagination. People who grew up in this time, in this place, didn't have the American dream of being able to do whatever you want to do. That's a foreign afterthought to them most of the time. So that's the first imagery that you have, the device by which Natasha Trethewey advances her meaning. The next place that this is done, again by imagery, is the bikini that the granddaughter wears. The bikini is a clear sign of freedom. No one's telling you what to wear. You can expose yourself as much as you want to. There's no restraints of the 1950s where everything was very conservative. This is a time of freedom. A time when the granddaughter isn't told what to do. Compare that to the cotton meal sack dress, something that is normally associated with poverty, with working hard. That it just once again shows the imagery between what the granddaughter experiences and what the grandmother experiences. Two very different things, and they're almost incomparable based on how opposite they are, but it really shows how different of a dynamic two people can experience from, again, the same situation, just based on what's going on around them. Let's see. So again, we're looking to explore the methods by which Miss Trethewey is advancing her meaning, and allowing the reader to see into what she's trying to do. So the next way that she's able to do this is in my mind by tone. What ways does the author give you an insight into the mind of the two characters in the story? You have the grandmother and the granddaughter, so we've gone through kind of what the grandmother experienced, this segregated piece of land where she couldn't wear whatever she wanted to wear. She couldn't be around, explore the beach. It's not that hope land of sand and what's all the way down at the other end of the beach, the kids playing games, things like that. You have this small area where you're confined in, and the beach is supposed to have that freedom of seeing out into the ocean for days, and you don't get that. So the tone that the grandmother sets, or that the author is able to set, is one that the grandmother constantly overcomes. She overcomes those things, and she continues to return to the beach and hope for this promising tomorrow. And whether she has to wear those conservative garments, it's a sign that she's not going to let others dictate what she wants to do. She's going to continue to try to fight for what she wants, and you see the payoff in what the granddaughter gets to experience, and the memories that she doesn't have that the grandmother does have. Differentiate between the two, but at the same time they link them, because there's a link towards the past and what it was, and what the granddaughter doesn't have to worry about based on the suffering of what the grandma went through. So that link there shows that it links the two main characters, while at the same time being able to show that they have these common threads that link them back, and that the grandmother's over to overcome. That's a huge thing to me of why this poem really stood out to me. I'm a big believer in working through hardships. I lost my mother as a high schooler, and I know you can't shun away and turn away from things because they bring up bad memories. You can't run from those experiences. You have to learn from them and grow from them. And it's got to be the way that you shape your future decision making. So for me, this poem really linked that You can't shy away from history or neglect the decisions that have impacted your past. And the grandmother is the exact epitome of this. She doesn't shun the beach and that experience because she understands what can be gained out of it. And to be able to see that as a grandmother, I can't imagine a situation that would be more rewarding to that person, that this is who you fought for the future of your family. It's a proud moment to see that society is progressing, and that the granddaughter gets these freedoms that she never has to question or think about. Do I really get to experience this? That would have to be so rewarding, I can imagine. I'm the reason that I really could identify with this is because I'm an empiricist. I believe that you gain knowledge through experience. And this is, again, the perfect example of that, for exactly what I said, that you don't let experience hold you back. You let it be a learning tool and a growth model for making future decisions. By this way of thinking, the grandmother can see things such as the sun and the minnows that offer life and freedom and youth, and the minnows are running around and passing the granddaughter. That's not something you notice when you're confined in a small area. You think about all the space and how you're crammed in, and the granddaughter gets to see the more full, wide range of what the beach offers, not just, again, this segregated plot of land that you get designated for you. So the reason it stood out is because of progress. And to me, that's something that not all the poems did. They didn't all resolve problems. They maybe addressed problems. This really showed why we may not be perfect now. We're taking steps towards progress and making things better. So thank you for this opportunity. And I hope you enjoyed the poem. History Lesson by Natasha Trethway, United States 2012 Poet Laureate, published in 2000. Thank you.